They say motherhood is a journey, but let's be honest, sometimes it feels more like a roller coaster with no seatbelt. I bet you're like me, wondering why babies, or teens in my case, don't come with instruction manuals. Welcome to This Incredible Mom Life, the podcast that celebrates the beautiful chaos, quiet wins, messy moments, and everyday miracles of being a mom. I'm your host, Dummy, wellness coach, mom of 3 boys, and a passionate believer that you don't have to live at the mercy of PMS, burnout, or exhaustion. Join me every week as we hear the craziest and most unbelievable mom stories. I'll be sharing the huge accomplishments and triumphs of both our moms and their kids. We'll giggle, cheer on the kids, and discuss obstacles and lessons learned along the way. If you are struggling to be the best mom you can be, how open-minded are you to booking a free call with me? You don't have to live at the mercy of your cycle, and you definitely don't have to do it alone. Give yourself permission to let me be part of your support system. I believe that you weren't meant to just survive motherhood. You were meant to thrive in it. Welcome back to This Incredible Mom Life, where burnout, hormones, stress, and motherhood get real conversations. Melissa is a homeopath, a women's health expert, and intuitive healer with 15 plus years experience of working in natural healthcare. She is a mom of 2 grown-up children, 21 and 19, who has navigated motherhood, divorce, single motherhood, perimenopause, menopause, and refinding love later in life using her own healing tools and magic. She has a passion for supporting women through all life stages by combining natural medicine with transformational emotional healing work. Thank you, Melissa, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Amy. It's lovely to be here. I'm excited for our conversation today.
And where are you calling in from?
I'm based in London, in the UK, southwest of London.
I always love my international guests, so welcome.
Thank you.
All right, well, let's get started and share a little bit more about who you are a mom to.
Yes, so I'm very blessed. I have a beautiful 21-year-old daughter who has really found her way in life. She's found her thing. She's doing hairdressing. She's very creative. And yeah, I'm so proud of her. She's found her way in life. And then my son is 19. And he is on what we call here in the UK a gap year. So they finish, I know you call it high school, they do A levels, and then can either go straight to university. And he's on a gap year at the moment. I'm so proud of him. He's worked really hard to save the money to go traveling, and he's in Southeast Asia traveling at the moment. So yeah, I'm so blessed to have seen these children through from birth. And I retrained as a homeopath partly so I could be at home with my children because I haven't always worked in natural healthcare, and to have been part of that journey with them and then see them turning into these beautiful young adults making their own way in life is just, yeah, it's such a blessing. It's had its bumps on the road. It's not all been love and light, but yeah, I feel so proud that they're finding their own way and they're doing so well.
Nice. Well, share a story about them.
Well, do you know, when I was thinking about this, sharing a mum story, I thought I'd share something that was very recent, actually, because I think it really shows how we have the power as mothers. And certainly, I know we're going to talk about this shift we go into at perimenopause, to really change the outcome of the way things can evolve for others as well as ourselves. So the story I was going to share was of my son, as I just telling you, is traveling in Southeast Asia, and he's saved up, he's worked really hard for this trip. He's gone with his girlfriend, and around 2 weeks into the trip, I received this phone call that his girlfriend's ended the relationship. So and that she's flying off somewhere else that next morning. So I'm with my son on a call, holding the space for him. You know, he's absolutely heartbroken. He's on his own because he didn't have this plan, and I'm the other side of the world. And it's been really interesting because I thought there's lots of ways in which I could have navigated this, and I think old Melissa probably would have gone into mum meltdown and let's get you home, and calling him or messaging him all the time to check he's okay. And yet there's like as I've gone through this whole perimenopause and menopause experience, there's this other level of us comes in. And actually I decided to just hold the energy that everything happens for a reason and it's always for our highest good and that he'll be okay. I know, I asked Archangel Michael to take care of him. He's a wonderful angel of protection. But just knowing that this could be a really great experience for him and that he would navigate it, and I had that trust in him. So when I'm talking about vibration and energy, I wasn't putting that my energy of mum panic into the situation. I held the space, I listened, I only offered advice when kind of asked. Um, and it's really interesting because this is now kind of a month ago, and I literally just spoke to him today. He's gone on to countries that he never intended to visit. He's caught up with
Hmm.
friends from school, also traveling in that part of the world. He said he's played catch up with them a little bit, and he's made new friends. And I can just hear when I speak to this boy, just this real, so grown up, so grown up. Um, and I can't wait to get him back in July. But it's really interesting how we can influence the outcome of situations, not just for ourselves, but for others as well, just by, what vibration, what energy am I going to bring to this?
Yeah, absolutely. You took a very tough, challenging situation, right, and helped him through it in a way that he's enjoying again, and he's not, um, heartbroken or depressed or stressed out, miserable, right? Like,
Yes.
um,
Yeah.
so I love that. I love that you shifted your own energy and how you showed up for him. I think that's an important thing that we all have to learn, and I am in that process also of learning how to do that. So important
Yeah.
life lesson right there.
Yes, it's the balance between being there and letting go and letting them find their own way. And that's something when we come to, we can talk about this queen, this wise woman energy that we come into in later life that really kind of supports us in being, a bit more the eagle on the perch rather than just wanting to dive in and save and rescue, which is what, I've done for years and all of us do as mothers, because let's
Yeah.
face it, that's what we do for our children, don't we?
Yeah. And I mean, he's young, so we know that it's not the end of the world, somebody better will come along. We know all these things, but for him in that moment, yeah, it must feel like it.
Yeah, of course. And we've been there too, haven't we? We've been
Yeah.
teenagers too and been heartbroken too. So you can really,
Yeah.
yeah, your heart goes out to them, doesn't it? But yeah, proud of him and the way he's moved on.
I love that. And I'm proud of you on the way you handled that situation. So,
Thank you. Yeah, I
very cool.
surprised myself actually, because as I said, I would normally, yeah, it wasn't easy to navigate emotionally, but I just decided to apply these little lessons I've learned from menopause to other, aspects of my life. And it seems to just always have a much nicer outcome because, getting stressed and worried and anxious doesn't do me any good as well
Yep.
as I talked about
Especially
the
since you can't do
vibrational
anything
effects on
else,
me.
right? From so many miles
Yes.
away, you can't,
Yes. Yeah.
be there physically for him, but you can be there emotionally and support him. So I love that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
Yes, thank you for your lovely introduction. So I am a homeopath. That's I've been a homeopath. I'm in my 15th year of practice. And homeopathy is a beautiful system of natural medicine that works with the body's own healing energies. So um, remedies are very bespoke, it's very holistic, it's very personalized. It's not one size fits all medicine. I could be working with two women with, say, migraines, for example. They'll probably need completely different remedies because we're looking for it's almost like a catalyst. It's a very gentle stimulation to their body to bring it back into balance, into homeostasis. And I fell in love with homeopathy. I had an amazing cure. So I suffered from the age of 4 up to my early 20s with chronic UTIs, chronic cystitis infections. I had every test under the sun available at that time. I'm a 70s baby. Years of antibiotics. Knowing what we know now about the gut, I'm just like, oh my goodness, thank goodness I have the knowledge I have because I've been able to heal from that. But literally in my early 20s, I moved to London after university. Um, I made new friends and I told someone about my condition. They said, why haven't you seen a homeopath? And I went to see this wonderful lady, and within 3 months was completely cured. And I've never had any kind of bladder infection since. It was amazing. So when I had my children, I retrained as a homeopath, and As I said earlier, it enabled me to be at home with them and have a home business. And I've never looked back. Here I am 15 years later, and with lots of other tools and modalities and healing methods. And it's just wonderful. I feel so blessed to do what I do, every day, which is support women with all kinds of health conditions, like really helping them to find what it is within them. It's a little bit like detective work, homeopathy, finding out. We go very much back to root cause, finding out what's caused the condition in the first place, and then bringing in remedies to kind of gently, we call our medicines remedies, to gently manage that while the deeper acting remedies are working to bring them back to health. And beautiful thing with homeopathy is we very much take emotional and mental symptoms into the picture as well. It's not just physical. It's very much looking at that whole person and finding out, what's there, what really is this underneath. So I love I always support my patients emotionally as well as with physical remedies for whatever symptoms they're going through.
Nice. I have a similar story. So I used to have terrible monthly symptoms, right? And I was always told, it's normal. You just take the medicine, you'll be fine. You have to push through. Until I learned it wasn't normal. And then same thing, I, went through changing my diet, changing the way I sleep. And once I improved my physical symptoms, my emotional state, my spiritual state also just came into a whole new world. And I wasn't even expecting that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it really fascinates me what you just said about we think things are normal. I
Mhm.
worked with a lady recently, her energy was very low. And I do muscle testing when I work online a lot, but I also work with people in person when I can. And I do muscle testing as part of my consultation. And this lady was low in iron. And actually, she went and got a test and she was so low in iron, she actually needed a transfusion. It
Yep.
was absolutely incredible. And after that, she said, I didn't realize, I thought that level of energy was normal. I didn't actually realize how tired I was. So
Yeah.
it is fascinating. I think as women, we've got this real strength, haven't we, to just cope and go through. And, very much as mothers, we put ourselves on the back burner at times.
Yeah. All the time.
Um, what we are actually capable of. And yeah, what we can, it's just fascinating um,
Yeah.
to me. And the emotions as well are so important because how we feel about something, the stress and illness, chronic illness, a hormonal condition can cause. It's like it's added to that, isn't it?
Yeah. So you touched on this a little bit, but talk more about how the holistic approach can really help with chronic illnesses.
Yes, yeah. So it's looking much deeper than the physical symptoms.
Mhm.
One of the fundamental principles of homeopathy is that symptoms are the body's way of healing itself. I know that might be difficult to hear, but actually, when we break it down, fever, for example, is literally the body burning off virus, bacteria, toxins. High temperatures are very, very beneficial in the body. And I know with young children, and I've been there, that we can go into this panic about
Mhm.
them having a fever, but actually, that's their body has produced that. There's not something that's come out of the blue in order to resolve this. And if you allow that to run its course, this is what I found with my children. By the morning, they wake up, they're fine. Their body hasn't had to produce another symptom in order to resolve whatever it was, because you've allowed the fever to do that. And with homeopathy, I've managed, yeah, tonsillitis, all kinds of things without antibiotics in my children. It's been absolutely, um, wonderful. And so with homeopathy, we're looking at we're not about suppressing symptoms, we're about working with the body to resolve it faster. But as I
Yes.
talked about earlier, I really like to work on different levels. I like to kind of weave a prescription that's got that deep support for what's going on at the chronic level, and then also at the physical level as well. So when I'm looking at someone, it's very, very holistic. And something I've really learned, my years of experience and the intuitive healing I do, that most things don't start in the physical. They start in the emotional. And symptoms are messages from the body as to what needs healing at a deeper emotional level. And when you bring all of that together, that's when you get true healing. Just phenomenal. Some of the women I've worked with, it's just been absolutely incredible to have been able and to support them emotionally and really dig into what's going on. What is your body telling you here? As well as doing the homeopathy, the detective work, because again, symptoms in the uterus, for example, often don't start there. We backtrack. Often things can start in the liver or the thyroid, or it's not just about supporting that one part of the body. If there's one part of the endocrine system that is imbalanced, it's a little bit like an orchestra. It's going to affect the performance of the other parts as well. So I love kind of delving in and going to that. Okay, so this is going on, say in your case, Amy, with menstrual issues. Well, I would look at also what's going on with the liver and the thyroid and how is that functioning, and then bringing in all this beautiful emotional work as well. It's such we hold a lot of emotions in that sacral chakra, and every month that gets released. Our periods are more than a release of blood, they're also a release of emotions for us as women. What's getting stuck there, what's the body calling for attention for in that area. And that's essentially what I do. It's an absolute joy, and I get so excited about it. But yeah, it's bringing in this really holistic, individualized, let's find what's right and what's going to work for you, and create the change that holds the healing. That it isn't just a quick fix, or we suppress some symptoms. Let's find out what this is teaching you. Let's go really deep so we can bring this to resolution.
Yeah, you hit some very important points there. So I know as a healthcare provider that when you're under chronic stress, right, or a high emotional state, or anything that can affect the body, your chronic illnesses, right, will flare up. They will be worse, and a lot of times there's no explanation for it, but in the medical community, but there is, because it's whatever your life circumstances are happening. It's that increased cortisol. It's maybe you're not sleeping as well, right? Like all of these things play into whatever chronic illness you have or chronic symptoms you have. And I love that you're like approaching the whole person because all the systems, they do work together, like you said, like the symphony and the orchestra, and they all all the instruments need to be in tune and playing the right notes for everything to sound right. So
Yes.
Love that approach. Well, now let's talk about an additional challenge that we face as women when we enter perimenopause.
Yes, yeah. So this is a huge change for us as women. And what I wanted to share today was about the shift that goes on, because this is about so much more than changing hormones, as I've discovered through my own journey and through the women I've worked with. We're actually going through to a whole other life phase here, which I feel is when we really come into our power as women. And what can come up at this time is old symptoms returning, emotions. I work with women who have sudden anxiety out of nowhere. Previous situations, say in work, where they would have been incredibly confident and calm and just go ahead and do things. Suddenly, these things become, a source of panic. And what I found is going on is whatever we haven't looked at from earlier in our life, things that we've kind of swept under the rug, are going to come up at this time for us to address, so that we're not carrying them into this next life chapter. So it's like perimenopause is an opportunity, for a big clear out of the whole life clutter. Because if we're going to carry that through to the next stage, it's kind of going to impede us as to where we're going, because we're going next to the Queen and the Wise Woman phase. I don't know if you've heard these two, the journeys we have. So we have the maiden phase, which is kind of our first menstruating years. Then we have the mother phase, whether we've had children or not, we've been creating and giving birth to things. And then, the Queen is where we're coming back to ourselves and our sovereignty. And, in my case, that's okay, my children are kind of half flown the nest, and this time is coming back to me now and what I want to do. And this is why you see, I work with women who just change careers and things around this time as well. And then the Wise Woman comes a bit later. But as I talked about at the beginning of our conversation, I think aspects of her kind of, we can start to tap into that, because you can become so intuitive at this time. I mean, I'm a theta healing practitioner. I've worked for 10 years doing energy and intuitive healing, but my goodness, my abilities opened up so much more at this time. So I guess what I want women to understand is there's a whole big emotional, personal, spiritual, energetic shift going on here. This really isn't just about hormones. That's like just the tip of the iceberg as to what's going on. You mentioned stress as well, Amy. Sometimes when I work with women, the first thing I will do is lower the stress levels, because when the body is in fight or flight or freeze and cortisol is racing
Mhm.
everywhere and adrenaline, the body is, because it's in survival mode, it's literally keeping us alive. That's the only thing it will focus on. It's not going to focus on healing or anything else. So sometimes it's best to just um, take away that layer, and then we can kind of really see what's going on.
Yeah. So I love your perspective because most women, especially if they're having a lot of symptoms during this phase, they don't like perimenopause, right? They think it's like this midlife crisis and it's something bad and negative. And then they're not looking forward to the future because they're thinking, oh, I'm just going to be old and, things are going to be, not as they were when I was little. But I love that you say that we step into our power and become a queen. So talk more on how you help women through that transition.
Yeah, of course. I'll share a little bit of my story, which probably helps to illustrate this even better. I walk the talk because I'm a health practitioner. I eat well, I exercise, I manage stress. I do lots of yoga and meditation, and I take supplements when needed. I treat myself homeopathically and with flower essences and all the other beautiful things I do. But actually, when perimenopause came, I really felt like the rug was pulled out from under my feet. I'll be honest with you. I thought it was going to be a breeze, and it really wasn't. I had terrible hot flushes, which were like, I would actually laugh sometimes because I'm like, where is this heat coming from? I'm a chilly person normally, and it's just off the charts. Migraines, never
Mhm.
suffered with a migraine ever. That had me in bed, completely debilitated. Bladder irritability, not infections, I'm glad to report, but I couldn't do things like take long baths anymore. And I was getting up at night to go to the
Mhm.
loo. So my sleep was disrupted, and then I couldn't get back to sleep. And I was like, what is going on here? And I managed the symptoms kind of quite quickly, I would say in a matter of weeks. Um, it all settled, apart from irregular cycles. That was some, I would get to this place where I haven't had a period for 72 days. This is it. Because you count, it's 12 months till we officially get to menopause. And I'd be back to square one again. And when I kind of got all the physical symptoms to settle, I really tuned in with myself, and well, what's really going on here? Because my body, I've been so blessed. I had two natural childbirths. I've never had period issues. I've always had a regular cycle. So it was, what's my body trying to tell me here? Why this kind of, this hormonal hissy fit? And what was really interesting was when I tuned in with it, I'd just met after 4.5, 5 years on my own. I'd had the courage to start dating again, and I'd actually met someone, and this was becoming a serious relationship. So when I sat with it, what are these symptoms going, what's really going on emotionally? It was this whole, what are you doing? Letting another man into your life, meeting your children, into your bed. Um, you're so good on your own. You've been fine on your own. And it was all of that. It was so interesting. And when I cleared that, when I healed all of that residual fear, that's when everything really started to calm down for me. And I also healed a lot of stuff around menopause, and because we pick up vibrationally what's going on in the energetic, the shared field, and there's so much fear and um like you said, all this, oh, I'm on the downhill, it's aging, and kind of, I did a lot of research around, other ways, other cultures, and how they approach menopause, and how our ancestors would have done that, which is actually, we're becoming the oracles, the seers, the wise women. And when I cleared that and brought back that old wisdom, which does come back, this lovely sacred feminine wisdom comes back at this time for us, that's when everything, all the symptoms stopped. And I would say 18 months for my hormones to completely settle into postmenopause. And yeah, I'm just shy of 3 years without a cycle, but I can say hand on heart, I don't have any symptoms. And it's, yeah, I think when you go through that journey consciously, with that awareness and like, okay, I know this is difficult, but actually I want to go do this kind of deep dive, this journey, and find out where this is taking me and who I'm becoming.
Yep.
It really is it's like gold. And that's what I do with women. I've done that for myself, and that's what I do with women. I take them through this real deep journey into you, your health, who you're becoming, what you're gonna ready to let go of, what's ready to let go to bring
Yeah.
you into this most powerful version of yourself that can do things like navigate emotionally when their children are the other side of the world and
Yeah.
experience heartbreak and being on their own. It's just like this, yeah, going into that power, knowing that we have, when we heal ourselves as women, it automatically pays it forward to our children as well.
Yep.
Knowing that we have that power.
Absolutely. So now I know there's a lot of women listening who are like, I need this. I'm struggling. I'm, got all these symptoms. So talk about your special offer for my audience.
Yes, so if you go to my website, I offer a free 30-minute discovery call with me. What I wanted to offer for your listeners, Amy, is during that 30 minutes, what I will do a little mini reading for you. So the work I offer in my programs combines the homeopathy and natural medicines. You get beautiful bespoke prescriptions with this deep emotional intuitive healing. And what I would do in that session, in that 30 minutes, is I tune in and I do a little reading, and we'll just see what it is that's most ready for healing within your what your hormones are showing you. I can kind of pick up what that kind of central message is, and sometimes just bringing awareness to that can just be a real light bulb moment, and I just love doing it. So yeah, as I say, I don't normally offer that, but I would love to for your listeners. Book in for a call with me, mention the podcast, and I will do this little intuitive reading for you within that time together.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for that generous offer. And if people want to connect with you or they have a question, where can they find you?
Yeah, go to my website. I have a contact page where you can reach me. That's the best way to find me. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook, so you can message me on there too. But yeah, my website, that will come straight through to me, and I answer all of my message personally and within 24 hours. So that's the best place to find me.
Perfect. I will put all your links in the show notes so people can find you quickly. And I absolutely love this conversation. I love that shift that, middle age, midlife is not the end of everything. It's like a new beginning, right? And you're stepping into this power that you needed your previous life experiences to have, right?
It really is. It really is. And when you change the mindset, mindset has a huge impact on health. The body kind of follows suit with that. It doesn't have to be this time of, hormone deficiency, or, I'm going to get osteoporosis, or this is going to happen to me. Actually, the body responds, and it's like, okay, this is how we function. We don't age, we don't decline, we become strong, and it's amazing that impact that kind of work kind of has on the body. It really is like an elixir.
Mm-hmm. I love it. It's the closest thing we have to the fountain of youth, I think.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, this was so fun. Thank you again for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Amy. It's been a joy. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And in closing, you do not need to do everything at once, but start with one small step this week. And you guys will hear from me next time.
Are you struggling to be the best mom you can be? Are you fatigued, overwhelmed, and stressed out? Are you losing precious time with your family because of PMS? If so, sign up for my free gift on how to start living in tune with your monthly cycle. The link to get it is in the show notes below. Use this guide to help you start to eliminate your symptoms of PMS, increase your energy, reduce stress, and fully enjoy this incredible mom life. The way I see it, you have 3 choices. You can try to figure it all out on your own. You can do nothing and stay where you are, or you can get the customized guidance you need to thrive as a mom. The choice is yours. Thanks for listening to today's episode. I hope you learned something from these stories. If you enjoyed this show, please make sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share this podcast. It really helps this show grow. If you have a mom story you would like to share, click on the link in the description below on becoming a podcast guest. Remember, the content on this podcast is for general information only. It does not replace any medical advice given by your healthcare providers. Please check with your doctor if you have any questions about your specific condition and before starting any new diet or exercise regimen. Thank you, and you will hear from me soon.